Welcome back, Flare community. Now, today, it's obviously a bit of a weird one. I'm streaming very early, and today we're going to be basically just watching this live AMA, Ask Me Anything, with Hugo Philion, who is obviously the CEO and co-founder of the Flare network. So, basically, I am at work at the minute, and I will sort of just be checking in. I'm going to be taking notes as well, so I'm going to be very much multitasking today. But if you guys have any questions, then please feel free to ask them in the comments, and I will certainly relay them to Hugo. Let's see what he has to say. Okay, so there's a raffle what Hugo's doing, which is pretty good. For the people who are asking high quality questions. That's for 2 decent wallets, and I have one myself, and I must say that they are very impressive. That's very interesting indeed. So if you do have any questions, well, you can either throw them in the chat and I will ask them on your behalf, or if you want a chance to win a decent wallet, then you can jump over to the Telegram and ask them yourself. So let me just try and find this link for you if you guys did want to join yourself. So that's the link if you want to join. Flare will drop when the network launches. Yes, Net, I will definitely be dropping all kinds of guides, but obviously I can't do guides and walkthroughs until we're actually able to do something. So, hey Martin, nice to see you. Oh, this is great because we're actually getting Korean answers and English answers. I thought for a second that I would be that I would actually be translating on the fly, but it seems like we're getting both. So, very good indeed. So let's see what Hugo says. Hey Roy, nice to see you. Face Stamper. Shall we get a bit of background music going here as well? Let's see. Hey, let me know about these levels if it's too quiet or it's too if it's too loud for the background music. You know, we get that nice little ambience. How do you opt out of Flare? That's a good question. The details haven't actually yet been released, but I think it's I don't know. I'd like to know your reasons of why you want to opt out of receiving Flare. Devon, I think that's very unlikely, to be honest. I know Flare Finance have had a beta competition and all that good stuff, so that should be coming very soon as well. And the levels are looking nice. That's what we like to hear. What is the ratio? I'm not sure of the exact ratio, but it is on the Flare Finance Twitter somewhere. Let me just read this really quick. The initial challenge, which set the path of the future of Flare, was that we, the founders, did not believe that the existing consensus mechanisms, both proof of stake and proof of work and proof of stake, could support the fast-growing blockchain industry's true potential. We've researched Federated Byzantine Agreement consensus mechanism as a substitute for proof of work and proof of stake, and from there, Flare was founded as the first Turing-complete Federated Byzantine Agreement protocol, and this is what, in my opinion, one of the things what really make the Flare network stand out from its competitors. The idea of using the FBA protocol in a smart contract solution. It means that it's very cheap, very fast, and obviously very scalable as well. It's almost Flare's secret sauce, if you will. The second innovations were the FTSO, the Flare Time Series Oracle, and F-asset protocols, which enable bringing off-chain data to the Flare network and wrapping existing non-Turing complete tokens such as XRP, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and XLM to unleash their value. Mic volume's really low. I will turn that up slightly. Thanks for the feedback. When you guys do let me know in chat, I can obviously correct it a lot faster. So yeah, thanks a lot for that. Let's see what else we have. What are the issues Flare is trying to solve? Flare exists to solve two key issues. First, and of immediate importance, is the building out of the industry that is approximately 65% of the value that exists on blockchain cannot be used in a trustless manner with smart contracts. So that's all like Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, etc. Second, and of both short-term and long-term consequence, is that there are potential issues with how scaling is being implemented for smart contract networks today. The majority of new networks use proof of stake or its variants. These protocols derive network safety from their native token. Flare does not do this, which we see as a key advantage. 100%. We've talked about this with the network being secured by the underlying asset on a proof of stake network, and Flare completely abolishes that, where the token can be used freely, and you also get the benefit of being able to have extra functionality such as voting as well. We get 2 votes. That's both the FTSO vote and a governance vote as well. So yeah, guys, if you do have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. If for whatever reason I do win one of these decent wallets, which Hugo is very kindly giving 2 away for people that ask good questions, I will certainly be doing some sort of raffle myself to give them away, because I do actually have one myself already. Or alternatively, if you guys want to ask questions for yourself with a chance of winning a decent wallet, be sure to ask it then. Wacko, this is, I can answer this one for you right now. So when the collateral ratio changes, and we've been getting this question a lot in the community right now. So if the price changes and it strays too far away from the price of the Spark token, and the maintained ratio has to be 2.5. And if the collateral ratio drops below that, the agent will get a warning to say you need to provide the collateral within a specified time. If they don't do that, the Spark from the agent will be redeemed into let me try that again. So the Spark provided by the agent as collateral, some of that will be given to the originator, and that means that at that time there is no risk, because you will receive and you will be redeemed for the XRP which you actually put in. So there is no risk there, but the question is, if the price keeps going up and you have a Spark and the asset is continuing to rise, then you can obviously buy less of that asset with the Spark that you hold. So this is a very rare occasion, I think, where the price would be going up so fast and you are not there. But at the point where you get redeemed in Spark, you will get all of the value back. So I just want to quickly read through some of these as well. What did we miss? Okay. Compared with interoperability protocols such as Polkadot and Cosmos, what are the advantages of Flare in aspects of cross-chain, bridge, and interoperability? Cosmos and Polkadot provide interoperability of networks that are built using their representative technologies. Flare provides a form of interoperability for networks that already exist and are built using different technologies. And he mentions the F assets here. This allows these existing blockchains to use the value of their tokens on Flare and for there to be complex, stateful interaction between these chains on Flare. Flare unlocks the value of these chains. So it's almost as if it's a, how can we say it? It's a, like a cross-chain platform, because you can trustlessly bring them over and you can trustlessly redeem them, these F assets. So, and it's going to be sort of like a common place where all these communities can actually get together as well. Andrew, I don't think we have the official figures, but I believe that's something that that Flare will be releasing soon, the details. So, so what do we have here? Question 5. The Flare network consists of a layer 1 network. Then on top of the protocol running the FTSO, the Flare Time Series Oracle and F Asset system. What's the reason for designing the system this way? Hugo says, when we initially started designing the network, we wanted to overhaul the existing network solutions, recreate it from scratch to make sure we can have a network which supports safety, speed, low transaction price, scalability, green or eco-friendly, fully decentralized as well. But we also wanted for it to be accessible to those in the existing development community and existing solutions, which the vast majority of Solidity which uses Solidity and EVM. So this is Ethereum's proprietary language for coding smart contracts, and obviously with Ethereum being one of the most popular, the most popular smart contract platform at the minute, it makes sense for them to be able to port over their contracts over to Flare, which is obviously going to be a better solution for the reasons mentioned above. By separating the network from the protocol above, we are able to create a solution which both answers the 6 targets mentioned and accessibility to the development community and its existing products. Okay, cool. Very interesting indeed. Is there any question? Where have you asked it? Perfection. Have you asked it in the Telegram yourself? Have you joined the Telegram? I will quickly put a link here for you guys. Yes, I believe the price of the Spark token will be very volatile once the Flare network launches. You know, there's going to be a lot of people buying, a lot of people selling. It's going to be very interesting to see how that actually goes. Yo, what's up, JK? Get your Flare lit. Love to see it. Oh, the real XRP whale. Thank you so much for the donation. Coming from the US, that's pretty early for you guys, right? Ask Hugo why they don't drop 100% day one with 85% time released, no tax, still 15%. So there is actually a blog post, if you just give me a second, which goes into this reason why they've actually chosen this distribution schedule, and I would highly recommend it for anyone with similar questions about how or why the Flare team have decided to distribute this way. Now, just because they've designed it this way doesn't mean that it has to remain that way. So if you guys just give me a second, I'll try and find it for you. Okay, I found it. If you look at this particular blog post, sorry, bear with me. And specifically under the section which is called so if you look at that blog post and it says why is the distribution structured this way, it gives a great breakdown for their reasons. So definitely give that a read. And yeah, thank you XRP Well very much for the donation, very much appreciated. So let's continue with this. Where are we? Question 6. XRP, Dogecoin, Litecoin, XLM. How will you incentivize the holders to mint F assets? And that's a great question, actually. The overwhelming incentive is to be able to utilize the tokens on smart contracts and use the many decentralized applications previously not accessible to non-Turing complete tokens. However, we have added additional incentives such as rewards pools, which will distribute Spark tokens to F asset minters, generate passive income, for example, by delegating your F asset vote to FTSO providers, and continuously increasing the ecosystem for third-party dApps running DeFi, gamings, and NFT. So, as Hugo says, it's not just this overwhelming incentive to sort of unlock the value. It's also, they've added these extra additional things which really will bring a lot of value from the existing chains into the Fleur network. Question 7. What are the advantages of holding Spark? I would like to know if the Fleur teams are receiving sufficient audits because many projects are vulnerable to hacking nowadays. Well, Fleur network is going through 3 audits, I believe. So let's just have a quick read of this. I've already elaborated on most of the advantages of holding Spark in the previous question, so I would just emphasize 2 of the main reasons: passive income, and we all know about that, the FTSO sort of things, and obviously dApps. Most early consensus algorithms were not designed to support the full potential of the blockchain industry. Fleur network was designed with the future in mind. Not only is this capable of supporting the network capital in its current size of around 2 trillion, but it is capable of supporting a much higher volume. In regards to auditing for the Fleur network, Hugo says security of the network is their top priority, and we will be investing in it heavily. Fleur is incorporating 4 layers of security tests: the internal, which is 50% of their development team. All PhDs in mathematics are dedicated to testing. External auditing, which are currently in the middle of our second audit by Trial of Bits, and these are a very prominent auditor in the space, and we are expected to run a third and final one soon. Community tests, we are planning to run a bug bounty following the launch of our testnet. Surprise? It is a big one, following our blog during the next week. Ooh, what does this mean? That's very dubious. I wonder if that's referring to... that's going to be something new. This is a big one. Follow our blog during the next week. So maybe... I don't know what to speculate on that. What do you guys think? What is this surprise? Well, whatever it is, I'm excited to actually see what that's going to be. We're going to find out next week during one of the blog posts. Okay, so I believe this may be the end of the decent questions, so maybe it's time for us to think of some questions for our own. Martin, I very much agree. I think what's going to become a really big thing for creating taxes and the calculations and stuff is using actual software to automate some of that process, and then you can just give your overall details to your accountant. So let me just think. I'm trying to think of a good question. Please read my questions. Tommy Woo. Let's see. I think I may have missed it. Let's see. Let me think of a question. Okay, I think I have one. I'm just going to pre-write it here. Bear with me a second, guys. Yes, this is interesting as well, guys. So the 5% creation fee was just part of an initial blog post, but since then they've adapted this, and this is, Hugo says, this is just an example. The actual mechanism will create a market for fees, whereby agents specify the fee they are willing to take, and the system works to the lowest fee first. So it's going to be somewhat competitive, where the minting fee is actually going to be driven down by the agents of the network. They want to obviously get as much business as they can, and they will be sort of competing to provide the lowest commission rate. Will the Flare metaverse include encrypted communications and animated NFTs for business and personal use? 888 thenewworld.com. We aren't building the metaverse. This is a third-party team. Yes. Let me continue with my question here. Okay, guys, I've got a question here for Hugo. Let's see what... Oh, writing messages isn't allowed in this group. Well, that's a bit of a shame. I wonder why that is. I did type earlier. Okay. Let's go back to the chat. This is live, Kenneth. This is on Telegram at the minute. If you guys want to check it out, I can hopefully get you a link pretty soon. So this is the link for the Telegram for those who are interested. BSEC, that's a good question. Why minting F assets is 6 to 8 weeks from now, or it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks after the launch of the Flare network. So we have heard this. It has been said by Hugo himself. I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the source off the top of my head, but I've definitely heard that. And I believe this is to sort of bring out somewhat of a soft launch. They don't want to go all in, and they want to make sure that the prices, for example, for the FTSO data providers are coming in strong, and I imagine it's sort of a stability thing for the network. You know, to launch everything at once could be somewhat detrimental to the network. I think it's better to roll it out in various stages. And in fact, if you just give me 1 second right now, I can find something for you. Buying Spark now, but is it legit? So the Spark token that you can see now is actually an IOU, meaning the exchange that you bought it off will owe you a Spark token once they become available. Yeah, these IOUs, you've got to put your faith in the exchange, let's say, because the Flare network is obviously not being created, so therefore no Spark tokens actually exist yet. But yeah, you're basically buying an imaginary token just on the screen, and their promise to you is that once the Flare network launches and they receive the Spark tokens, they will swap it out for you. And it's not the exact same thing as Spark. It's an IOU. That's why you can't withdraw it, or you can't transfer it, for example, because the Flare network is launched and no Spark tokens actually exist yet. But I've been using Bitrue for a long time, and I've never had any problems with them, and I would definitely assume they're going to honor their IOUs. I think it would be an extremely bad move for them to do that and tarnish their reputation. They've got a great exchange, and it's actually, I believe it's the top exchange for XRP liquidity at the minute. Hey, Life Porter, we've got some Korean members in the house. Nice to see you here. Tommy Woo, what's your question? Do you want to repeat it? Whoops. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit gutted that I can't write any messages. Is Bitrue for EU users? Yes, I think you can find a link in the description below for anyone that's interested in accumulating the IOU before the network launches. I do have a link for Bitrue there, and it does actually help support the channel, so please feel free to do that if you wish. So let's read some of these again. As for scalability solutions, in fact, all other projects say they're best, so what's the biggest reason to use Flare? Scalability is in fact not really that interesting to me, as ultimately as fast as any network can scale, every available transaction will be used. This is where things like ZK rollups come in, and this is zero knowledge for those of you who don't know. It's a way to make transactions private, which something that Panther Protocol are going to be doing for the Flare network on a separate chain. So that's going to be interesting as well. What is really important to me is that the consensus algorithm is fair and scalable for value, not just transactions per second. Proof of stake, or delegated proof of stake, is not in my mind scalable for value because it requires even greater capital to remain secure, which is impossible. Secondly, Flare is designed to bring utility to other networks and communities, and we can think this is a really useful attribute. I agree, definitely. What will happen if the Spark provided as collateral on the first day of making an F asset is insufficient? I guess here we go. Is the foundation or company's Spark providers collateral? If there are many people who create F assets by entrusting them to market principals, will the creation fee increase? I'm not sure I fully understand. One, the more collateral is used, the more scarce the Spark token, the more value it becomes, hence there is more collateral. And that's quite an interesting thing here. So obviously when the Spark token is locked up, it's locked up. It's unavailable. It's provided as collateral and it's locked up in a smart contract. Now, the way basic economics work is that you have this thing called supply and demand, and if, say, the supply is decreased, then the demand will increase, and with a increase in demand comes a increase in price. So it's this self-perpetuating sort of cycle where the Spark token gets locked up, therefore it becomes worth more because there's less available, and because it's worth more, less is required as collateral. So it's a very interesting theory there, and it's a very good thing to hear. So if I am the agent, so we'll be able to auto recollateralize our F assets. Yeah, so the F asset system, recollateralize our F assets. No, if I'm an agent. Okay, so the agents will have this job of maintaining this collateral ratio, and agents are not just going to be the average Joe on the street. They're going to have sophisticated software which will allow them to automatically adjust this collateral. It's going to be something that needs to be done automatically, because, you know, if someone is sleeping, for example, it's not just going to be one person at the screen saying, oh yes, I'm going to just quickly update my collateral and manually typing it in. I have a very strong suspicion that it's actually going to be managed by software. Alex, when Flare launch? The best estimate is July. That's the latest what we've heard from the Flare Finance team. Minting F assets is out of our hands. I'm not sure what you mean. So you will be able to mint F assets, but you don't have to provide the collateral, if that makes sense. How do we use Y assets? So Y assets are going to be exclusive for the Flare Finance, and you will use them the same way that you use F assets. Devon, yes, I think Martin did a really great job with that video, and you know, he's a very generous guy. He said that I could use as much of the video as I wanted, but you know, I didn't want to use the full video. I really wanted people to check out his video, and I think his channel's definitely grown as a result. You know, he definitely deserves it, because that video was it was really great. It was a really good video, and if you haven't seen it yet, I would highly recommend it. In fact, if you guys just give me a second, I'm going to find the link real quick. And this video basically it goes over Martin's strategy of how he's planning to use the network. So just give me a second while I try and find this link for you guys. So you guys can check this. Like I say, this is Martin's strategy of how he plans to utilize the Flare Finance, and how his main idea is to accumulate YFIN at the very start. And he's got this idea that you can create these loops, these income loops, and it's basically just an effective way of compounding what you earn. Well, perfection in heaven. What safeguards are in place by Flare in the event an exchange ceases to trade or can't get authorized by local regulators? So basically, yeah. So what happens is the Spark is the Flare network is obviously decentralized. So people will still be able to trade the Spark token. Yeah, I think people should definitely look to keep their Spark tokens in a self-custody wallet. That's always recommended for any asset, as far as I'm concerned. Let's go back to the AMA and let's see what we've got here. Can Hugo reveal any more information about the number of exchanges that will list the token at launch? When exchanges signed up to receive the token, most, but not all, agreed to list the token. We will be pushing very heavily on this, and it will be very good if the community can too. So I certainly back that up, you know. Oh, actually, we've got room for a question here. Let me check my... let me check. Let me just throw this in here. So yeah, I'll quickly read my question. Hi Hugo, thanks for this AMA. The Flow network incorporates the Ethereum virtual machine. My question is regarding the portability of contracts from Ethereum to the Flow network, which are both obviously written in Solidity. Will contracts be able to be duplicated completely, or will the contract require some, I imagine, very small changes? And I think this is very important for the developers of the existing Ethereum developers, that they can easily migrate their project over. I think it's going to be a really driving force of the Flare network, because at the end of the day, the developers want the best solution for their customers, and if they can literally do that at the click of a couple of buttons, then I imagine we'll see some rapid development on top of the Flare network. Hey Susie, great to have you here. Good morning from Florida. It's actually just coming into the afternoon here, I believe, 22:12 in the UK. So it's very important the community. Yes, Wakako. Can I just keep it staked on Flare Finance untouched for several months, for example? Yeah, you can stake assets for as long as you like. You sort of realize the gains when you take it out of the liquidity pool. So, and that's if you are providing liquidity. There's definitely other ways that you can earn with Flare Finance, and if you are interested, I would definitely recommend clicking this link and seeing Martin's strategy. Definitely worth checking out. Okay, so that's great. That's great. So, Hugo says, in regards to my question, not in the contract itself. Systems built around the network by the developer to monitor the contracts will, by definition, be different. Okay, so it's not as simple as a case of having a project just super easily transported, but the smart contracts, which is what I believe to be the majority of the work, and having them audited and stuff, they won't theoretically have to change. So that's really great too. See, maybe. Hello. Hope you're well. Hope everyone's well today on this bright Tuesday morning for me still, but soon to be afternoon. Kenneth, there's not a list of agents that I'm aware of at the minute. I don't actually think anyone has announced that they will become an agent, but yeah, I will be sure to share that as soon as people do start announcing it, and I imagine off the bat it's going to be exchanges and maybe big players in the game such as Flare Finance. Yep, and another one about tax questions. I'm sure this is Hugo's favorite topic. There was a small incident related to token distribution recently, tax related, and I'm curious as to why it's happened and how it came to a conclusion internally. The plan will only change through community-led governance mediated by the token. So, as we all know, holding the Spark token gives you a governance vote, and if you are holding the Spark token, it's very important to actually use your token for its intended use, and that is both delegating your vote to an FTSO data provider to earn more Spark, and also to help govern the system. And I think it's really great that people have this option to help choose the direction of the network. Flare community, I think a couple of people were asking, where will their Spark tokens go if the exchange that their snapshot was taking on closes its doors? How will they be able to claim their Spark tokens? Well, this is the thing. So when people held their XRP in an exchange, they was doing that at a risk, because I think it was very clear that wherever you claim your Spark tokens, that's where they will go. And you know, I think many people just held their assets, their XRP, on an exchange for the ease. Maybe slightly intimidated by having to go through the claim process. But I did put a guide out, and it was very straightforward. I think I claimed in about 3 or 4 minutes. But to answer your question, the Spark tokens will go to the exchange, and that's been decided upon the launch. That I don't think there is a way to reroute your funds. So if, say for example, an exchange does shut down in a particular region or something like that, which no longer gives you access to the exchange, that would be something that you would have to take up with the exchange. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up. There's Roy Plummer in the house on the actual Telegram chat. Nice. Oh, I missed this one. What are the requirements for becoming a signal provider to the Flare Time Series Oracle? Like, is there a fixed amount of Flare or wrapped Flare needed to become a signal provider? Initially, we'll be starting with 100 signal providers. So the top 100 signal providers by F asset and wrapped Spark delegation amounts will participate. So that's very interesting. 100 signal providers. Very interesting indeed. In fact, I might just start snapping some of these so that we can start. Sorry about that, guys. Let me try and turn down the volume on the desktop as well, because yeah, cool. Yes, Binance US. I'm not really sure what happened with them. I guess it was something to do with regulation, United States regulation or something. Yeah, I know the US. I'm not too clued up on the laws in the US, and I know New York residents also have a hard time due to specific state law. But yeah, like I said, I'm not too clued up on that myself. Why isn't the F asset system open at launch, open at the same time as the mainnet launch? So this is what we said, and this is exactly what I said, you know, risk management. Better to make sure the network and all systems are running well before asking for liquidity to be pushed through. See our announcement coming in the next week for more clarity on launch and how we are trying to make the system as robust as possible. That's definitely snap worthy. let's get this. So I think this just gives a little bit of clarification that their announcement is coming soon, as I said, and that's something to look forward to. In the future, will the FTSO vote on prices of stock and commodities for the Flare network? Certainly, there is nothing stopping it from doing so. So that's interesting. Tokenized stocks on the Flare network, definitely interesting indeed. Let's see, go back to the chat here. I did 50-50 on some exchanges, some on Ellipal for that reason. Yeah, that's it, Devon. You have to mitigate your risk. I know a lot of people put all of their eggs in one basket and just decided to claim on just a single exchange. And, I'm very hopeful. I don't think the Spark token will have any legal troubles, but at the end of the day, we never really know. So we're just going to have to wait and see. So how do you claim on Binance US then? I'm sorry, but I feel the deadline has passed. Binance US sent out an email to their customers, and you had to give an Ethereum style address, which you would like to receive Spark tokens to. When live soon. I think this is it's been a really good Ask Me Anything so far. I think we've got some little nuggets in there. I'll definitely be recapping this at a later date. Do you guys have any questions in the chat? And if I can't answer them personally, you can either get me to put them up to Hugo or ask them for yourself. Hugo's actually giving away 2 decent wallets. So yeah, it might be worth checking out. Yes, Hensky, I do agree. Sologenic is a great platform, especially for tokenized stocks. Joey, you should have done, but if not, I think you might be out of luck. Yo, what's up, Baki? Nice to have you here. The info keeps changing. Flare Finance was supposed to release all products at Flare launch. I believe that's the case. I believe they are, at the launch of whenever Flare Finance launches, they are actually going to be releasing all 6 of their products at once. Yes, Bifrost wallet. I'm really excited to see the Bifrost wallet too, Face Stamper. I'm actually, I think I've mentioned this a few times before, and I'm going to be doing a review of both, of the Ledger device, the Decent wallet, and the Bifrost wallet too. So Ledger and Decent are actually hardware wallets, like a physical device, and the Bifrost wallet is just software. It's something that you're going to have on your phone. But I'm very intrigued to see the functionality of each of these different wallets and how they compare with each other. I'm not too sure on Flare Mutual yet, but I do have a video coming up in the near future where I'm essentially unpacking the Flare Finance white paper. So I will definitely be getting to that soon. The Flare virtual machine is agnostic. What does this mean? Flare can be virtual machine agnostic. At the start, there will be the Ethereum virtual machine integrated. There is a potential multi-chain model, all linked together by two-sided state connectors that would allow for the integration of any VM in parallel. This would be a long-term governance-based project until it is known what VMs will be successful. Let's wait. And that's a great point. So the Ethereum virtual machine is basically just a chunk of code which has been integrated with the Flare network, and it allows them to use the smart contracts, and these are Ethereum style smart contracts, and that's what makes the portability from Ethereum to the Flare network so easy. But as Hugo says, the Ethereum virtual machine is just one of potential many integrated virtual machines on top of the Flare network. At the minute, the Ethereum virtual machine is by far the most popular, but that doesn't really mean that there's not going to be other successful virtual machines in the future. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that develops too. At release, will you be putting up the platform address? If we open Bifrost Wallet, do we still need to link MetaMask with it? That's a good question, and it depends. From what I understand, you're asking if you will have to use MetaMask to interact with the Flare network, and that really depends on the Bifrost wallet. So obviously with Ledger, a Ledger device at the minute, now that the Flare app has not really been released, we can't see what functionality it has, and that's why we have to go through MetaMask to be able to set up this custom network. But we're just going to have to see when the actual software gets released and what functionality they have, which is integrated with the Flare network. But Bifrost have definitely announced support for the Flare network, so I imagine they're going to have various features such as delegating your vote to an FTSO data provider, for example. Becky asking how the Gala nodes will help the Flare network. So Gala nodes, they do have, I believe they are actually going to be an FTSO data provider, and the Gala nodes are actually going to be, the nodes across the Gala network are actually going to be helping to calculate these prices. So it's going to be a decentralized way to calculate prices on the Gala side, and then that's going to feed into the Flare time series Oracle, which is again decentralized in itself by accepting so many different input sources from various data providers. So it's almost another layer of decentralization. So that's going to be interesting to look for as well. Marco from FTSO EU, he's definitely putting out some good questions. Let me see what he put here. I did miss that. Trustline is building on Flare in a trustless gateway to the XRP ledger, where Flare network is the issuer of stablecoins. Why is this so exciting in your opinion? Which kind of use cases do you see? That's a great question by Marco right here. Let's see the reply. Where did the reply go? Wow, things are moving fast here. Here we go. This is insanely exciting. This is insanely exciting. You could now use all of the integrated F assets, that's XRP, XLM, Dogecoin, Litecoin, to create stable coins and use these for lending payments and any other use case. Let me see what else we have here. So Hugo's very reserved when he talks about roadmaps, and he says that he doesn't plan to give any details on the roadmap, because that would sort of insinuate that the Spark token is somewhat of a security. I believe that's what he said before. And yes, otherwise this project is centralized. It's basically going to be the holders of the Spark token using their vote, which decide what the roadmap is. So definitely be sure to vote. One of the main features of the Flare network is that governance applies liquid democracy. When will the platform for governance proposals be available? I don't know yet. For now, we are just focusing on the network build. Perhaps you can help us build it. I would love to see that. You know, Marco's a great developer in the community, and all of the FTSO.eu team. They've created some amazing tools, and especially when the Flare Finance beta was going on, they actually created some arbitrage tools. Can I just use XRP Toolkit for my Spark tokens? No, this is specifically for the XRP ledger, and the Spark tokens will be arriving on the Flare network. So it'll be going to a Flare wallet and not an XRP wallet. Diego, there is no hard date yet. The latest estimate we have is July, which obviously is around 17 days, I believe, left. But Hugo did just say that he's planning to do a blog post maybe next week. So that's something to look forward to. And I believe in that blog post we will see, we will get a date. I think that's a safe assumption from what we read here today. Yes, see, maybe that's true. It's to do with the XRP ledger itself. So when you set the message key to claim on using XRP Toolkit, that was just something specifically for the XRP ledger. Let's see if we missed any questions. Yes, I would imagine you will need to download the Flare application on your ledger, or maybe there will be some other integrations available, but it's likely if you have a ledger, probably the best and most efficient way is to just download the Flare app. And obviously from the other day, we know that it is ready. They did release it briefly by mistake, but they had to retract it. So at least we know it's ready and it's there. So that's always good. Yes, there is a website, and that can be, there's quite a few actually, but I always recommend www.xrpscan.com. XRP Crypto Swan, what is the APR? Some of the APR is a little bit fuzzy because there's too many variables right now. I mean, a Flare farm, if you're providing liquidity, it really depends on how much liquidity, what is your share of the liquidity pool, and how many transactions are happening on the decentralized exchange with that particular pairing. There's too many variables for me to make a guess right now. But what I do plan to do is, once the platform launches, I'll be able to plug in these figures into a model, and we'll be able to work with some accurate data. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. If an asset is voted to become an F asset, what happens if that F asset goes to 0? Will holders lose pounds? And as Hugo says, the F asset is convertible for the underlying asset at a ratio of 1:1. So 1 XRP is worth 1 FXRP, for example. So my biz, I think you may have, so I don't understand why is Flare ERC20 token when it's supposed to be built on the XRP ledger. So there is no connection between XRP and the Flare network. The Flare Spark tokens are actually part of the Flare network, and it's not going to be built on top of the XRP ledger. The only real link is that XRP holders received the Spark tokens. And why is it going to an Ethereum address? So this is something that I get asked very frequently, and let me just run it down for you. So when you set your message key, you gave a Ethereum address, right? And this is basically saying I have access to this particular Ethereum address. You should give the address of an account which you have access to via the private keys, or via a ledger or anything like that. Now, what happens is when the Flare network launches, you will be created an account on the Flare network, a Flare wallet, which has the same credentials as the Ethereum account which you linked. So it will have the same address. It will have the same way that you access it via the private key or ledger, etc. So you gave this Ethereum address to prove that you have access to said address. And if you have access to the Ethereum address which you provided, then by virtue, you will also have access to the Flare account, which is yet to be created. It will be created when the network launches, but is not part of the Ethereum blockchain or anything like that, okay? Big Ted Megalodon, thanks for the question. What is the best way to earn the most passive income with keeping my token in my possession? So on the Flare network, you won't be able to earn without giving up your possession of the underlying asset. So for assets to be used on the Flare network, they need to be converted to F assets. So I'm not sure if that's just a miscite from your... I imagine you know that. My biz, thank you. I'll just answer this question 1 second. So yeah, basically with FXRP and FCSC, I would highly recommend checking out Martin's video here, because his strategy is very similar to mine. Definitely worth checking out for those of you who haven't already. So my biz, thank you so much for the donation. Thank you for your hard work, and congratulations on your new job. Yeah, it's a very crazy month for me. Lots of things going on. I'm actually at work now, but I'm planning to I have maybe 17 days left. July is the last Friday in July is my actual end date. So from that point, you can definitely expect a lot more content from me going on in the future. Yes, Crypto Brown, as Phil says, that they've actually removed the Ledger app. They released it prematurely, and they've retracted it, but at least we know that it's ready. So let me just quickly catch up on some of these questions that we may have missed. Do you have any plan to begin development on another blockchain or network after finishing the deployment of Flare? Hugo says no. If an asset is... Oh, we've already gone through this one. When the DFLR snapshot is taken, is there a specific place that we should hold our Flare, our Spark tokens, or is this anywhere within the Flare platform? So basically, you need to hold it in a place which is compatible, like a wallet, which, well, you can either hold it on an exchange which supports the DFLR snapshot, or a wallet which will allow you to access all of the tokens which are on the Flare network. So, for example, Ledger is a Ledger device. If you competed in the Flare Finance beta, you would have access to all of these different tokens. You can add custom tokens and access them via MetaMask. So Yeah, it needs to be on a compatible wallet or exchange is the short answer. What is the ratio of asset to F asset? So they're actually backed 1-to-1, but in the process of minting, you're actually going to have to pay a fee, and that's going to be a dynamic fee based on the commission which the agents are willing to accept. It's going to be somewhat of a competitive marketplace. So it's likely going to be between 0 and 5%. I imagine much less than 5%. If I'm going to take a guess, I would say maybe 2 or 3%. So if you wanted to convert 1000 XRP to FXRP, you might pay 1000 XRP and you might receive maybe, I don't know, 970, for example. But then when you choose to redeem this 970, you will get 970 XRP back. Hope that makes sense. Can you give some more information on YFIN? Is it the same as YFIN 1? I'm not sure what you mean by that. But YFIN is the one of the governance tokens on the Flare network. Very limited supply. I believe it's just 11,000, and you can use that in all kinds of applications built on Flare Finance. It's going to be a very desirable asset, and with the supply being so low at just 11,000, I imagine there's going to be stiff competition to trying to get that. Paz, if there's anything that you want to ask me, be sure to drop a question. So, Upsych me, yes, Unpsych me, sorry. Can you explain the pros and cons of holding Spark on Bitrue versus Poloniex? I can indeed, and in fact, I did do a video, and for me to fully explain it, it's going to take a while, but I'll give you a quick rundown. I'm also going to find the video so I can link it for you. Just give me 1 second. So if you check out that video, that should explain everything. But basically, the Spark tokens on Bitrue are a lot more expensive, and that's because when the Flare network launches, they're redeemable at a ratio of 1-to-1 upon the very launch of the Flare network. Now, in contrast, the IOUs on Poloniex are much cheaper, but they still represent one Spark token. The difference is that this Spark token is distributed in accordance with the Flare network distribution. So if you're holding one Spark token, one Spark IOU on Poloniex, when the Flare network launches, you will receive 0.15, the initial 15% of that one Spark token, and then the rest will be distributed over a course of 2 to 3 years, as per the distribution schedule, unless it's changed by governance, of course. Bifrost supports DFLR snapshot. It's not been confirmed, but I very much believe it will. I mean, once the Bifrost wallet is launched, I'm going to be able to confirm all of this, and yeah, it's going to be I'm going to definitely elaborate on all of that good stuff. So that's Hugo going now. Thank you for your time. I can't wait to visit Korea and talk to the Flare developers and owners. So that's great. I thought this was a really great AMA. And look, there we go. He announced the winners of the Decent wallet. So congratulations to these people. Yeah, that went fast. Okay, guys. I think I'm also going to call it a day there. I'm going to sort of try and digest some of this information and sort of absorb it, and I do have some stuff to do as well. So thank you all guys for tuning in for this live AMA with Hugo Philion with me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and yeah, until next time, I'm out.
Mission Control, we have liftoff.